Guys, welcome back. This is Eric here with Guitarsenal, and just having a little bit of fun here. This is a 1974 Fender Telecaster. We thought we would show off for you here and go over some of the kind of aspects of the 70s era Fenders. We are playing through a 67 Fender Super Reverb, just noodling around a little bit there with the track, having some fun. Just a backing track I recorded there on the Ditto Looper. These 70s era Telecasters, they really are cool guitars. In a lot of cases, they didn't really suffer from the early 70s woes that a lot of the Stratocasters ended up with. Okay, you know, once they got into CBS buyout and then CBS started integrating some of the features such as a 3-bolt neck and things like that on the Stratocasters, these Telecasters didn't really suffer the same sort of fate. I mean, they were still guilty of the generous neck pockets that the 70s guitars are known for. A lot of the 70s era Fenders have very generous neck pockets, kind of sloppy fit and finish, but they were churning out some really respectable guitars in the early 70s, and this 74 is no different. The neck is very much a 60s style profile. It still retains a nice, comfortable neck, very playable neck. It still retains a 4-bolt arrangement, so you don't get into the 3-bolt unless you get over to the Fender Telecaster Deluxe or into the Stratocasters with that style of neck with the micro tilt adjustment. So this just has a standard 4-bolt neck. And really, I mean, these early 70s Fender Telecasters can really hold their own against a lot of the 60s brethren that are out there. Now, these don't really command the same type of money that some of the 60s era Fenders command, obviously just because of their collectible value, and they do sound great. But these early 70s Fenders are really a nice guitar in their own right. They play really well. They do have polyurethane finish, so that's one negative aspect of these guitars is the crummy kind of polyurethane finish they have on these. The necks have a thick poly coat, okay? And a lot of times what you'll see on these 70s Fenders is the headstocks will turn a little bit sort of a tint color. And a lot of people go, oh, it was carried in a smoky bar or something. That's not true. So what they did is when they put the water slides on these Fender guitars, they spray over the top with a coat of nitro. So that nitro will age on top of the poly, and that's why these 70s guitars will have that discolored headstock. So that's why, it's because the nitro finish that they spray on top of the logo to seal it in. You can obviously see they did make some changes to the logo, but it's got kind of a cool logo. But these guitars are great. One caveat that I will provide here, these are not the original pickups, nor is it the original wiring harness in this guitar. This is a set of Fralin Blues Specials, which are like 2% overwound, so they got some nice girthy mids and a little bit beefier output. This was a pickup that Robin Ford basically dealt with Lindy Fralin direct to rewind some of his 69 vintage Telecaster pickup for his vintage 69.
60.
Oh, 60. I thought it was a 69.
60.
Okay, so Robin Ford's 1960 Rosewood Slab Telly, he had Lindy Fralin rewind the pickups, and they wound up thinking, hey, this is a cool setup, and they wound up making the Blues Special, which is sort of Robin Ford's pickup, Lindy Fralin. And then we've got an Emerson wiring harness for a Telecaster here. But otherwise, the hardware and the neck and everything is all original. And this is a butterscotch blonde, kind of a nice see-through finish. This is a heavy, god-awful heavy ash body on this guitar. So a lot of the 70s guitars, you're going to see a northern ash. So the two varieties of ash that you're going to deal with when it comes to guitar bodies, you have swamp ash and you have varieties that they call northern ash. Northern ash grows slower, so it has a lot more pitch content, and the wood is heavier, okay, and a lot more dense. The swamp ash grows at a faster rate, therefore retains a lot less pitch and has a lot less weight. So the swamp ash bodies are a little bit lighter, whereby the northern ash bodies, this guitar probably weighs well over 8 pounds. So that's a heavy Telecaster. But it's got a nice ringing characteristic to it. It does sound really nice, despite the electronics upgrades, which, you know, you may say it was an upgrade or not, but the original pickups were giving some problems, and we were having some grounding issues and some polarity issues with the original pickups. And when I acquired this guitar, the bridge pickup had been replaced with some like Seymour Duncan Hot Rails, something or another, which it sounded good in its own right, but it was a little too humbucker sounding for me. I wanted the guitar to kind of get back to a configuration that I felt was kind of indicative of what a 70s Fender should be. The original pots that they put in these guitars, when we changed out for the Emerson wiring harness, they had 1 meg tone pots in this guitar, volume and tone pots of 1 meg, which is super, super bright. So we opted for, I believe this is a 500K? 250K. So this is a little bit more suitable for the bright, spanky output of a single coil pickup. That's what I was going for. Not bad. It's got a very punchy, articulate sound. It's definitely different than my 52. But it's a neat guitar in its own right, and despite the electronics being different, it's still a slab of swamp ash. It's got a very punchy output. This is just going straight into the super. This is no pedals. That's the bridge pickup in the middle. Neck pickup. Sorry, it's a little loud there. I must have had that thing not exactly set to unity gain with the front of the amp. That's okay. Guys, hopefully you enjoyed listening to me make a little racket on this 74. Guys, we do a lot of dang Telecaster videos, okay? Maybe we should rename this the Telecaster channel, because we sure do go through a lot of our tellies. We love our tellies here, and that has been noted. A lot of folks are like, play something other than a telly. Okay, we have other guitars we're doing videos on, guys. We don't have just tellies, but I am a telly guy. I kind of feel like the characteristic of the telly is a little bit more my speed. It's what I prefer. It's what I like. I like the sound of these guitars, and this is definitely a neat one. So maybe this gave you an idea of what to expect with the early 70s era Fender guitars. They're definitely neat. They've got some really neat quirkiness to them. That's a lot of fun. They're not for everybody, but then again, no guitar is truly for anybody. Each guitar has to kind of speak to you as an individual. I've played 70s era Fenders that are complete turds, that suck, that I would not even pay $500 for, much less some of the prices that they command. So let each guitar specifically speak to you. And if you like it, cool. Yeah, maybe it's for you. If you don't like it, move on. There's many more fishing to see. You don't have to fall in love with every single one you find. I've kind of gotten to the point with my guitar buying is that if I pick it up and I'm out of tune, of course, but if it rings, it's got a good ring to it, and it sounds good and everything. I mean, it's got to be a guitar that fits the bill and delivers the goods, other than just being what it is. It still has to be a cool guitar to begin with. So, guys, thanks for watching today's video. We post every Monday and every Friday. Make sure you tune in. This has been 1974 Fender Telecaster, Fralin Blues Specials, Emerson wiring harness, 1967 Super Reverb. Yeah. Cool stuff. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time. I'm out of tune, of course. Let me get myself right here. I'll make a little racket for y'all if you're still here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, way out of there.